Hello and welcome back to the Traker channel, where today I want to do the most ambitious mission yet. I want to go to the Moon. I won't be landing on it, but I'll be doing a flyby. So you can see I've got loads of rocket parts here, ready to build the biggest rocket yet. And you can see, you may be able to tell that it's going to have two boosters. This rocket did take quite a long time to build as well. It took like an hour to build, which is a lot longer than I'd like to admit to, building a rocket. But yeah. So you can see the Kerbals are just going around, getting the stuff on the truck. You can see I've actually fully loaded the truck there. I found it was a bit too heavy loaded. There I did a quick save just in case any parts were to explode during transportation. Jeb is spinning like a Catherine wheel. No idea why that is. Yep, he's going again. He's going crazy. So these fuel tanks are the second and third stages, or the first and second stages, depending on what you consider the solid first stage. Would you consider them two boosters or just a first stage, because technically the solids are lit first and then the liquid fuel stage is lit after the solids. So I'm now unloading the truck, taking all of the fuel tanks off, and now I will bring the Kerbals back over to the runway to get the rest of the rocket parts. As this rocket is so big that it needs to have two times to get them. You may notice there's an eclipse happening there as I was bringing the truck down the runway. So there I'm getting the two solid rocket boosters, the nose cones for them and some reaction wheels, since there won't be very good steering on the first stage, which is the boosters. You can see the sun is setting down behind the mountains. Valentina is shaking around like crazy on there. Not anymore. But I was making sure not to drive too fast, because I didn't want to flip the truck while I was transporting the rocket parts that I need to go to the Moon. I designed the rocket in the space plane hangar, which is a bit of a weird place to design them, but it was giving me the correct delta V readout, so basically I made sure the delta V was correct to do a Moon mission and back without landing. The initial rocket didn't actually have, or barely had enough fuel to get there, but I wanted the 500 meter per second margin, so that's what made me add those two boosters to give it a bit of a boost. Because I needed to add it as boosters, because it would have been too tall if I just added another stage. So there you can see I'm lifting up the various fuel tanks up the rocket and attaching them, and here I am assembling the second stage. There's the second stage assembled. You can see I'm attaching the Science Junior. Now I try lifting up this whole stage, which is very heavy, and I need not all of the Kerbals to... I need all of the Kerbals to lift it. It was one of the tanks that I didn't need all the Kerbals to lift up. So you can see I get them all up to the top of the tower to lift up the stage. And there we go, there's the second stage attached. And here's where I realised the rocket is too tall to attach the capsule. So I just go and get the science experiments and I attach the mystery goo, and after attaching the battery I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So then I had an idea to take off the Science Junior and build the capsule on top of the Science Junior, which would then make the rocket short enough that Dan Mon Kerman can reach it and lift up the rest of the capsule and the Science Junior up. You can see I used Dan Mon Kerman as a climbing frame to get Valentina on board, and now I'm just bringing it up, and that's the rocket complete. You can see I'm renaming it the biggest rocket yet. You can see that weird interstage problem has happened again, where the interstage hasn't appeared. And here I am driving the truck with the Kerbals away from the launch pad, ready for them to watch the launch occur. Here is where I normally go to park the truck. You can see I am a bit broke here. I really don't have much funds because I bought a new tracking station specifically to go to the Mun with patched conics. So I am broke. The rocket cost me half of my money that I had left from that. So let's hope this rocket pays off and brings me back lots of money. So here I am preparing for countdown. There I am just fueling up the rocket because the truck emptied out some of the fuel from the fuel tanks and getting rid of the monopropellant because I don't need that. There we go, the rocket is fueled up. But yeah, the truck took some of the fuel to recharge its batteries. Valentina Kerman will be flying to the Mun in just a few seconds from now. There we go, we're getting close to liftoff. And liftoff. And this is where disaster struck. The rocket lost control, spinning out. I immediately ejected the capsule, which then crashed straight back into the rocket, creating a massive fireball. Valentina then plummeted towards the ground with not enough room for the parachute to deploy. Could that have been the end of Valentina's life? The Kerbals look in horror about what just happened. The rocket they spent over an hour building gone up in a massive fireball with one of the most experienced astronauts on board. You can see Dan von Kerman is definitely looking in horror. The Kerbals get onto the truck to go and rush to the launch pad to see what's left, to see if Valentina Kerman remains there. The Kerbals then rush to the launch pad to see what remains of the rocket and potentially Valentina Kerman. The Kerbals don't have much hope, as the explosion they saw was massive, big enough to kill a lot of Kerbals. The truck approached the crash site of the rocket, and the Kerbals were horrified to see just a parachute on the ground, with no sign of Valentina anywhere. Valentina Kerman is dead. This is the first spaceflight disaster that has occurred on the EVA career save. So the Kerbals collect what's left of the spacecraft, which is a parachute, and they bring it and they take it onto the truck with them and bring it over to the administration building. Where they will set up a grave for Valentina Kerman. Remember, if you didn't enjoy the video, to dislike and unsubscribe, and maybe you'll watch the next one. And I will end the commentary here and let you watch what the Kerbals did with the parachute and adding the gravestone.